All right, now it's like I said previously, okay? You got people out here who are calling themselves conservatives. Okay, this guy is one of them, and MOT is another one. But all they do is spout non-conservative talking points. Okay, and then they want to espouse victimhood. And a big part of why I can't deal with Mercier Latre is that all of the things that I thought he stood for when I first met him, as I got to know him more and more, I found out that he didn't really stand for those things. And in fact, he is the opposite of those things. Okay? If you're a conservative, you're not supposed to have victim narrative and mindset. You're just not supposed to have that kind of mindset. That kind of mindset doesn't get you far in life. Okay, you waste a lot of energy unnecessarily, a lot of time unnecessarily. And all the time and energy that you spend on that shit, you know what I mean? You could have spent that time doing something productive. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it. So as far as the human resources stuff, this dude for years has complained about human resources. Okay? About the black women in human resources and what human resources has done to him, and how human resources has not been fair to him. And then my thing is this. I remember one of the first cases he talked about was that, I guess back in the early 2000s, he was trying to apply for some job at some hospital in Atlanta. And he said that there was like a hiring board of all black women. And he said he went before the hiring board, and even though he was overqualified, he claimed that they did not hire him, but they went and hired a black woman for that position that had less qualifications than he did. And he was claiming that they hired her because she was a black woman and he was a black man. And then he insinuated that had he been Indian, or and these were Indian women on the hiring board, they would have brought him in just because he was Indian. He insinuated that, but he didn't take into account all of the things that could have been going on behind the scenes. First of all, Mr. Research is from California. He ended up moving to Atlanta in the early 2000s. So you a California boy in Atlanta, okay, and you're not taking into account the culture that exists there. Atlanta is the number one black sorority city in the nation. Okay, in order to make a lot of connections and do different things there, you have to be in a black sorority. And if you are not, it can be very difficult to make the proper connections. How do you know that those women who were on that hiring board, how do you know they didn't have some sort of sorority connection with the women who they ended up hiring instead of Mercier Latre? How does he know? He doesn't know, but he's insinuating that, well, because I'm a black man, these black women should just hire me. And everyone knows black people don't work like that. Blacks in America just do not work like that. They don't. Okay? Immigrants give the appearance of working like that, but that's only because they're already connected with each other from their home country. Okay? They already have some sort of social connection or business connections and stuff coming from their home countries. You can't be a black guy that's going to move from the West Coast to the East Coast and move into a completely new city and just expect the red carpet to be rolled out for you just because you're there. It don't work like that. Sometimes you may have to work for that kind of thing. You can't just sit up there all the time, compare yourself to the Indian dude. That Indian dude is connected. You got to work on your connections. Okay, and to say that, okay, black women in human resources help out other women and white people more than they help black guys, that all depends on the company. Okay, that will have to depends on the company. There are some black people who just are all about bringing other black people in. It just depends on the person and that person's disposition. It looks like the companies you went to, the opposite was the case, which in that sense, I feel for you, but bruh, you have to look at the whole thing, and sometimes you just gotta charge certain shit to the game. Now he's saying that, well, as a black man, we need to fight against this, and I said this. I said the way you fight against stuff like that is by starting your own businesses. That's it. You cannot continue to twist Mr. Charlie's arm forever for the rest of your life to guilt him into hiring you at his company. The world just don't work like that. You will never build wealth like that. You know what I mean? You got to be able to build your own companies, and you can bring in the men that you want and the women that you want. And if they don't act right, if they don't some bullshit, you can just fire them. You'll be the one that has the power. I told C.A. Latre, stop putting yourself in a position where these other races and women have all this power over you. Stop doing that. I told him that. Okay? I told him that. I said, stop putting yourself in that position, bro. Where all these other groups of people and stuff got all this power and stuff over you. What sense does that make? How does that even make sense? As a black man, you always want to be the one that is in the position of power. Fuck all that other shit. Okay, and stop attacking truck drivers and dudes that have trades. Just because those dudes make more money than you and don't have to put up with the bullshit you put up with these women on these jobs and stuff doesn't mean you have to attack them all the time. And that's another thing. Whenever Mr. Research / Mercier Latre has been fired off of a job, a lot of times it's at the hands of a woman. I could think of 3 occasions where he lost his job on the hands of a woman, and this shit is coming out of his own mouth. He said he had the job where he said he was sitting in the boardroom and the girl was up in there and the camera was on. And then he said he left the boardroom but came back, sat down 2 or 3 seats away from her. Later, the girl said that he had said something to her she didn't like, or he had intimidated her, or whatever it was. Evidently, whatever it was enough for them to let him go. Okay? They went ahead and just let him go. And he talked about how unfair it was and all this and that. And my thing is this, bro. Why come back into that room? If that woman was putting off certain vibes, you should have just left right then and there. Why come back? Or at least record some shit with your phone. Okay, another one was where he said he was working with the African lady, and the African lady told him she didn't believe in the black solidarity stuff or whatever, and then she went and murmured some stuff to the Chinese lady, and he said that's all it took for him to for him to be compromised. And I said, first of all, the way you're describing these scenarios, if all it takes is for somebody to go whisper to somebody about you, that must mean you have an incredibly small amount of power at that company. All this power that he says he has, he's about he a manager and all this and that, he do all this and all that. The more important you are at a company, the harder it is for them to get rid of you. Okay? So if it was this easy for these chicks to go on these jobs and get you up out of there, now I'm looking at you funny style. Why are you still in a low-level position at these companies where it's easy for them to get rid of you? You should have advanced past that at this stage in your life. You're almost 50 years old. Or at least get your own damn business so you ain't got to worry about the bullshit. But see, the brothers who do that, you jealous of those brothers. You attack them. Because they have the ability to not deal with the bullshit that you do, and they can still prosper. But you attack those brothers. That's why a lot of people ain't following you anymore like that. You know what I mean? That's why you ain't getting that many views like that. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to hear someone who just is a crybaby who just wants to attack everybody that's doing better than them. You know what I mean? But let me know what y'all think. Get the likes up. That's my 2 cents on this. Peace.